Part two for another week, just running a little behind schedule, but we will make up the time. Teacher Avenella Griffith, independent candidate in this year's political political cycle, is with me in studio, and I want to say a very good morning to Teacher Avenella Griffith. Good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, sir.
All right, Teach, we get straight to it. The key planks of your election campaign 2025. Newcomer to the election scene here in Anguilla. Your key planks of your campaign.
Avenella for Anguilla is a platform whose mission is to cherish, preserve, and advance Anguillianness. That mission is focused on, right now, on two main aspects. First of all, to have and to see an island strategic framework emerge out of our island. I am the candidate who is willing to share a long-range proposal for us. When I say long range, I mean into 100, 200 decades and centuries. And when I say that, we already have companies here, for example, Capchiluca, whose lease is over 100 years. And if that can't speak to us in a small way, a small thing like that, but speak to us in a big way, what are we doing? Our governments currently don't even have plans that carry us into 2 decades, into a decade, and even more the political parties, the various platforms. If you listen to them, there's no generational planning that is even being proposed. So Avenella for Anguilla seeks to have a national vision, and the vision I propose is to be a tranquil, God-fearing, independent nation. That gives us something to look forward to. That gives us goals, not just goals for the next 3, 4, 5 years. That gives us unselfish goals, as a matter of fact, for not just 1, 2 generations down the road, but many. And I think right now, with all the factors that are around us, it's important for us to be unselfish in our actions and our decisions. 1967, even prior to that, they were very unselfish in how they conducted themselves, because they know they had children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren coming in. Here we are today. And because we're enjoying so much of what they suck salt for and what they did pick salt for, we have become self-centered, and we're not thinking about those to come. And I want to encourage us as Anguillians. This is not just for politicians and those who are going to be getting into government. This is us as a whole. Our mindset has to change, and that's one of the things I'm proposing, and a national mission, which is to live by truth and right. Taken, not any coin by me, but taken straight out of our national song. And with those two things coupled together with our national motto, which we already have, strength and endurance, I think that triple team would be a solid base for us as a nation to continue to build upwards and make decisions on. And because we have no vision and because we have no mission, as the old people say, any ship, any boat that don't have any of those things, the rocks are going to pick it up. Imagine you're getting onto a sailboat. You are asked to say yes to a boat that has a big steering wheel, but no rudder and no helm, no tiller. I know all of us, majority of us in Anguilla, have some sailing histories, have some sailing family, and we know that none of us today is going to get on any boat, on a boat race, any boat going to St. Martin, any boat going anywhere that does not have a rudder, that does not have helm and tiller, and only has a steering wheel. We would consider such people stone mortal crazy. And right now, we have a system, we have a government, we have a party that has all this action, all this control, and all this movement, and all this speed, but there is no vision. There's no mission to drive it.
What are you proposing to do differently, or what would you, if given the opportunity, what would you do differently? I've seen you put in place, you've put on your campaign
to have a national, to have a national vision, to have a national mission, and then from that we build a national plan. This plan, and I would say, for example, if the people of Anguilla, because this is not done in a silo, in a vacuum from the people of Anguilla, I don't believe in that. I believe this is our island, and as much as possible should be disseminated. This national plan, say for example, if seeing that the vision says we want to be independent, let's say the people say we want to be independent in 100 years, or let's say 2100. From now, we set up a national plan that would lead us, because we have gone ahead into the future, theoretically, and now we're going to come back to now. So what do we need to start setting up and getting ready so that by the time we get to 2100, we are prepared and then we can move
Yeah,
forward.
but has there ever been a national plan since you've been in existence, since you've been around as an
Not to
adult?
this extent.
Yeah.
I know definitely, and I will say this: every government department, every government ministry has been made to have a vision, mission, and motto. But yet the government itself doesn't have one for the country. And I'm not saying this government, I'm just saying all our governments so far. And it's not to say, okay, blame. That is not what I'm doing. I'm just saying we have failed to do something as a country that needs to be done. The strategic frameworks have proven to work.
And as a result of that failure, what has happened?
We are going astray. Without a vision, Bible says without a vision, we perish.
And how do you propose to tack back or bring it back on keel?
I would say we get a national vision, mission, and plan, and then when we work the plan in accordance to the vision. Say, for example, if the vision is to live by truth, if the mission is to live by truth and right, our plans that we make in the House of Assembly, those are going to be our 2 checkpoints. Okay, is this right? Is this truth? And government ministers, government departments, us as a people in Anguilla, period, it's going to get into our system. We are living by truth and right, Not to say nobody's going to do anything wrong, even government ministers. But when we do something wrong, we admit, we apologize, we get up and we go again. And if our vision is to be a God-fearing, tranquil, independent island, then the things that we do as a country on a national level are to ensure that they're fearing with God, ensure that our island is kept tranquil.
So you're calling for a reset of the moral compass in all of this?
And the way we do things in the house and the way we do things outside of the house as well. It's a whole reset of our nation and the way we've been doing things.
And you think that what you're offering and the campaign that you've led, that you're providing that sort of direction,
yes, because
and opening the minds of
yes,
citizens.
We've been too short-sighted. We've been just living for what can I get? What can I get? And we're not looking for the long term. What we have right now in Anguilla can be cherished, it can be preserved for future generations. But if we're doing this grab, can all you get and get all you can, then we are not thinking for our children's children. And I think we are able to keep as much of Anguilla as possible in terms of its tranquility, to bequeath and to will down to them.
And you've used tranquil taxes, for example. You've cited that in your campaign. Tranquil tourism, tranquil technology, and the like.
Tourism, transportation, technology.
How do you explain those
These
to
5
the ordinary
tranquilities
people?
are areas that I believe that our Anguillianness comes out in tremendously, significantly. And I would say at the top, Anguilla has been a place that where taxes have been kept low and tranquil. When taxes are high and they are a burden in a country, you can literally feel it in the people. Their shoulders are bent down. Their mindset is bent down. There is very little entrepreneurial drive because you're imprisoned by these things. And for, let's say, from time we got our in 81, when we were totally declared, legally free from the join between St. Kitts, we had tourism, and we used that, not to say we didn't make mistakes, but we used that to keep our taxes to a minimum. We did not know where we were going to go, where we were going to get the money. Then all of a sudden, .ai comes in, and we have the .ai funds, which could have kept us for another generation or more. However, with the high spending that has been going on over the last 5 years, the revenue coming in from .ai and from whatever else we could get are now being pegged to spending that is going to even surpass revenue that's coming in. And that's wrong. That is highly wrong. And so therefore, I believe there's a way we can have either low or zero tax in Anguilla, so that our people can live like one, so that people can continue to feed their families. People can continue to pay their bills. Secondly, so that entrepreneurs can continue to be the driving force of this economy, of this island. Before we got into the last, let's say, definitely before GST, we had entrepreneurs who were really the ones who were being almost the second leg to government.
And you're saying you're not seeing that now?
No.
No.
And even in terms of the entrepreneurial spirit that I would even say the DYC and the ALHCS, where we worked to cultivate that in terms of saying to children, you don't have to go there right now or even later and just stay working for somebody. You can start your own business. And that spirit was being cultivated. But then when you have a heavy burden with a lot of taxes, it comes and just clips it and cuts it down, and now you have to start that all over again. If you really go and look at a few of our next door neighbors, islands, there isn't that heavy drive for owning your own business. And not only that, the entrepreneurs in Anguilla really give back to the community because they believe in us as a people, and we have been the ones who have been helping us as a people. So as Anguillians helping Anguillians, but now we have a situation where Anguillians are basically trotting down Anguillians and not giving them that freedom to blossom.
So you're saying over this last 5 years of almost 5 years of this administration, you haven't seen anything noteworthy, beneficial to the
that is not
people,
what I'm saying.
people of Anguilla?
That is not what I'm saying. I believe that all governments over the last, and I've said this right here before, over the last decade and a half, all governments have done well, but over the last decade and a half, I believe that there has been a shift in our trajectory, and that's because we didn't have a vision and a mission guiding us. If we had that, we would definitely not have made a lot of the decisions that have moved away our Anguillianness, that has eroded it, whether intentionally or unintentionally. A lot of our Anguillianness has been eroded, and so that's what I'm
But
saying.
you haven't seen, can you pinpoint anything that you would have seen that would redound to the benefit of the wider Anguillian society in this last? I'm specifically asking you about this
Definitely
4.5 year
GST.
period. Okay.
Definitely GST. And it is something that the people said no to. It was something that the current government campaigned no to.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I'm not a fool. And so I think that we know that when we stay outside of certain places and we look and we see things, there's a different thing when you go in. So when they went in there, they saw something different. They just could have come back to the people, said, this is what we saw. But the Anguillian people said no. They opposed, they rallied against it, and they were willing to make a way around GST, and it was totally refused. And that there was a dictatorial decision, and even the way again it was done in the House. And so definitely that one straight off the bat.
But what about some of the positive programs, social programs that have come out as a result, an offshoot, if you like, of the GST funding, which is basically the people's money being plowed. I'm talking, for example, the Senior Shield, Junior Shield, for example, which are good things in any society. However, whichever side of the fence you sit on, how do you reconcile and bring that, and specifically look at that and the wider benefit to the community?
Well, the thing is, if your foundation is wrong, it doesn't make any sense laying blocks, because the blocks are going to go up wrong. Yeah. So you're asking me to judge blocks that are good blocks that have gone up, and you are on a wrong foundation. You are on a foundation that was done incorrectly. So what's the sense?
So you see no benefits at all? You don't see any...
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, I just want to be clear. I just want you to be clear.
Right,
yes.
The foundation is wrong because you use money that you promised that you would not have. Okay. Yes? There were other ways to go around that, and now you have run those blocks, and now the whole thing is off because you have created, you're building something that is not shaped right, that is not going to eventually stand
So you don't see that as being sustainable?
Not that it's not, and there are ways to sustain things like this, but now we have to go and deal with the foundation. How do you deal with GST? Yes? So ways to come up with getting that out of our system and maintaining what can be maintained needs to be done.
But all agree that the GST isn't going anywhere.
Well, you can't say all.
No, the majority of persons, and I've heard that from all sides of the political
I'm just saying
city.
it's not all, because we have .ai. We have
that's another peg. That's another peg.
Have that, and that's a much more huge peg, because
that's another peg.
The numbers for .ai are not being factored in, and the numbers that that Vince Kate projects is that you have $100 million coming in this year. Yes.
100 million
US
you said,
dollars.
okay.
And Vince Gates says, and if you look at the track record of it, it's going to double every couple of years. I believe the last figure I heard for GST when the last one was 155 million EC dollars. If you compare 155 million EC dollars to 100 million US dollars, and 100 million US dollars double in a couple of years, and then right after that is going to double in another couple of years. So God's willing and God's continued blessing on us, you can maybe making 400 million US dollars in a decade. That money is what I am proposing, that we have a 7-year wisdom plan with 7 years to save, 7 years to get debt free, 7 years to
So you
plan.
will scrap GST, period, and
With
and
100
and,
with
and focus
200
more on the .ai domain registration.
No, we have alternative ways
other areas.
of getting money in. We have other ways.
What are the other ways, if you may want to
First of
suggest?
all, I would like to talk about the plan though when I finish this. But first of all, we did have an accommodation tax. We did have. And so I'm not sure what the issues were with that, but I'm thinking whatever they were, it can certainly come back. When we can
And is that
look
sustainable?
I think it is if we make it just as hard as we push GST, if we push the accommodation tax and any other new ideas that people who make up the elected seats can come up with, yes, and also our government workers. But if we have something like besides revenue coming in, one way you also make revenue, which people don't look at, is you lower expenses. And so there are ways that we can also lower expenses, which will keep money in. So with a 7-year, and I'm the candidate who is proposing, not just with my lips, but in paper, that you take 7 years, you assess what you have, assess the money coming in from the .ai project specifically, and take 20% to 50%. Again, I'm not unwise in this. I'm not saying take all the money, put it there, and we have nothing else. But we take that money, we pay off debts, we get debt free, and we save that every year. And then we plan, we strategically plan over the next 7 years. After that, you roll out all those plans. As of now, no government has a plan for, and even this government, for using, and that they're sharing with the public, for using the funds, any of it.
There's been talk of a sovereign wealth fund similar to the Norway situation. I've heard that.
But it's not on paper.
Expressed.
And they're not putting it down on paper for the people. And as a government, you want to have a national plan as well, something that everybody can see. What I'm proposing is that when we do this strategic planning, it's a project roadmap. A national project plan is listed, it's broadcast. So people can say, okay, these are the checkpoints. We will be hitting this in the first couple of months. We'll be hitting this. And so you see it being rolled out over 7 years. But even now, plans for maintenance of what we have, all those kind of plans are not being shared with our people from the current government. And so we have I'm proposing a wise plan for the use. I'm also proposing something else that would make jet skis totally be taken out of our picture. We've survived without them so far, and I've proposed to have something like a drone descent major conference that can bring thousands of people in here, that can bring in thousands of dollars. Something like that is highly technological, and with our .ai as our almost mascot, if you want to call it.
Why your opposition to the jet ski proposal?
For several reasons. They're unhealthy, they are harmful to the environment. I love going on the beach, and I love the fact that I don't have to be watching, doing this. The noise, I know they're quite softer now, which makes it even more difficult because you really don't know they're on you until they're on you. But also because we do a survey almost every day. Somebody's at that airport.
But what if they operated in a confined, designated locale?
Which is a confined?
No, I'm just saying.
No, I'm asking back. What is a
just
confined designated locale? Is it where I go, where you go, where other tourists go? And there are 3 things that tourists tick that they totally appreciate that we don't have: casinos, jet skis, and can't remember what the other one is. But one of the key areas about the drone thing is that it's highly technological. It continue to elevate our brand as what we're currently being pegged at or identified at as .ai, which means we are up there with the technology. And something like this would far surpass the revenue that we would get from jet skis, far surpass.
What's your basis for saying this? Have you conducted or read any studies? Is there any research that you can point to, even on suggesting that this can be
Yes, I've
a
researched
solid
it.
plan?
I've researched it, and
Okay.
anybody else can too. Very few countries are doing it in Europe, and there's no drone conference of this sort anywhere in the region in the Caribbean. And so yes, I've done the financial research, I've done the legwork on it, and I believe that something like this could elevate Anguilla to being beyond extraordinary. We say beyond extraordinary in so many ways, in our brand and our marketing, but yet we want to live so low. And we want to go to the common things. We want to go to what everybody else is doing. And so therefore I'm saying no. So therefore with my plans, I have outlined them, I have written them down, I have discussed them. And those are so people can keep us accountable.
Yeah.
And I believe too many of our government officials want to run from accountability. Accountability keeps you in check. I'm not overstepping, and so therefore my tranquil taxes, teaching, tourism, transportation, and technology, all of those things are important to me, because I really believe that once we keep a check on these things, they will keep our Anguillianness for as long as we possibly can.
And you maintain your opposition to casino gambling. You've
Absolutely.
said that clearly. You
They are robbers.
vehemently
They are robbers.
oppose
Even
that.
the lottery, yes, I
But
vehemently oppose
you
those.
have wider gambling throughout
yes, and we've been through
the
there.
Anguillan society.
Yes, but
so how do you juxtapose the two?
And I oppose those as well,
Yeah.
because I believe that a government that agrees with it, and people, not just people for not just a government itself, but the people. If we're gonna say yes to it, we do have to realize that as a people, we're saying yes to our sons and our
But
daughters
you would
and our
agree,
children being
Ms. Griffith,
robbed.
with the greatest respect, that a large percentage of persons here, are into gambling and do that on a regular basis.
That's what I just said.
You would agree.
And we would be the ones who are trapping ourselves, because you cannot do something that's illegal and not reap the benefits, the consequences of it.
Right.
And so once we are going to continue down this road, and it's very sad right now when you're driving on the Little Harbor Road, just before you get to pass the Chinese store there on the right, just after you pass, there are two big apartment complexes. There's houses there, and there's a lottery going up right in front of those apartments. You have children, you have young people, you have families, and a bright orange, turquoise, and white building, small little building, is going up there. It's attractive to our young people. The colors stand out. Actually, the colors are brilliant and lovely. But the colors, when they draw you in by that, they are robbing. And then we have issues which are popping up in the wider society, and we're wondering why. And we have to look at, when you plant a neem tree, it just doesn't stay there. The shoots come up all over other places, and we have to get back to looking at ourselves. If we have these lotteries now and we have so many different ills that are coming up in our society, we ought to stay far away from casinos. They are indeed robbers.
So, Ms. Griffith, your campaign, why? You're an independent candidate. Why should the people of Anguilla entrust their vote in you or with you as you seek a place in the Anguilla House of Assembly? Why? Why should they vote for Avenella Griffith?
Avenella for Anguilla, as an independent island-wide candidate, seeks to ensure that our House of Assembly not only sits on two of these party legs, but has a third leg that's representative of the people. that's independent. However, given the last decade and a half of the incorrect or wrong trajectory that we have been turned into, I'm here to say that cherishing, preserving, and advancing Anguilla and Anguillianness is the motto and is my drive. To continue to live without a vision and mission in our island, I believe it would be unwise of us to do so. In the next 10 years, in the next 5 years, if we continue with this way, as the old people say, the rocks will surely pick us up. And so therefore, I'm asking you to consider giving me a vote so that I can do the very best that I can with the knowledge that I have to ensure that our taxes, our teaching, our transportation, our tourism, and our technology remain as tranquil as possible, to help to fight to ensure that the money, the funds that we have been blessed with, this thing called .ai domain name, the revenue coming from that is wisely spent and not just thrown up in the air at fly-by-night dreams, and it is not and that it is not unaccounted for. So Avenella for Anguilla seeks to be truly Anguillan and truly working hard for us as a nation, and not just simply for myself. I believe every government worker is worthy of their hire, but at the same time, I do not believe that we should be dictators, just doing whatever we want, however and whenever we want. Take, for example, we have the situation where we have the snap election that throws all our children in chaos at the high school because everything has to be turned upside down. We have a situation where we have prioritized our a $400 million airport over the fact that even now our children can't have heat because we don't have a running field, a playing field, a sports field, and so many other things, including an auditorium and so many other places, when the airport is going to be taken care of for visitors, when the LBCC is going to be taken care of. It was taken care of for festivities over a couple of weeks, and since then it hasn't been used. I believe that our priorities have been misaligned, and they have totally been misaligned in respect to us as Anguillians. I believe that we should be building character first and then looking to build concrete. And so Avenella for Anguilla is here to cherish, preserve, and advance Anguillianness.
All right, Avenella Griffith, independent candidate, I want to thank you so very much.
If I could just say one last thing, Keith. I want to speak to those of you who are apathetic in spirit. You have been betrayed, you've been lied to, you've been tricked, and you've been treated as if you're a fool and you are not planning on voting in this elections. I want to encourage you to overcome that, to rise above that, and make whatever wrongs you can right by coming out and not letting anybody push you out of your rights, push you out of speaking out, because those who go to vote will be voting for you. And I understand the experience you have gone through, but I say to you, they will be doing you the same thing again if you allow them to dictate your actions by what you experience. And so you made a mistake, you were fooled, you were tricked, you were betrayed, but please don't let that spirit of apathy keep you away from voting on the 25th and the 26th. I encourage every Anguillian to come out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. There you had it from independent candidate Avenella Griffith. We'll go to a break, and when we come back, we'll be hearing from some other politicians throughout the session here and Talk Anguilla Rebranded Part 2 with yours truly, Keith Stonegraves, Renford Kelsick on the board.